Hi guys, it's Jono here from Silicon Dales, Australia. We're an Adelaide-based SEO agency in South Australia. Now, today I just wanted to put this quick video together and just answer a question. It's one of those questions that sometimes you don't get a straight answer from your SEO agency or your SEO company about why they do certain things, and more specifically why they charge a monthly fee or a monthly retainer for their SEO work. It's a question I got asked by a client only the other day. It's the first time I'd been asked a question, but it sort of struck a chord with me because obviously the SEO industry has in some parts has a reputation of being somewhat snake oil salesmen. There's a lot of people have been burnt by so-called SEO gurus or SEO agencies, not only here in Australia but also around the world. They can. Obviously, there's the normal model for an SEO agency is to normally there's a bit of an upfront fee for any SEO work that needs to be done on a website or web property, and then a lot of web or SEO agencies will then actually charge a monthly retainer. And today I just want to, as an SEO, someone with an SEO business myself, I just want to explain from my point of view why SEO agencies and why our company actually charge a monthly retainer for the SEO work we do. So, for example, let's say you're a small business and you've engaged an SEO company in Adelaide, and you want them to look at your website, optimize your website, and then obviously you want your rankings to actually increase in the search engines. Let's just, for the sake of this, of an example, we'll talk about Google. Google is obviously what we talk about 90% of the time anyway. They're still, in the search engines, they're still about 90% of the market. You have your other search engines such as Bing and Yahoo, and also some other smaller search engines around the place, but Google takes about 90% of the market. So we'll talk about these guys in this example. So let's say you're a small business. You've engaged an SEO agency to actually do the work for you. They've said to you that, okay, we think your website just needs a little bit of a tweak, and we could do some off-site work as well. Let's say you're sitting on page 3 for say you're a plumber. Let's say you're sitting on page 3 for plumbers in City X. Maybe we'll say Plumbers Adelaide. And the SEO agency or the SEO person says to you, okay, we can get you to page 1 in 2 or 3 months. First of all, you should be wary of any SEO agency that can guarantee rankings. Google and all the other search engines, they provide a product. So the search engine is actually a product, and they want users to have the greatest experience using their product. So as SEO people, or as an SEO agency, we don't own the rankings. All we do is keep up to date with what's going on in the Google algorithms and how things are working currently, and the word is actually currently because things are changing all the time, and then we do our best to work within the guidelines of the search engines and provide value and relevancy with whatever people are trying to search for. So we don't own the rankings, which is why I say that we can't guarantee that you'll get page 1 or position 1 rankings. All we can do is actually go away and do our work, make sure we're up to date with everything that's going on. And if you're a good SEO, someone who's is good at SEO and understands what's working at the moment and up to date, things will certainly improve. The rankings will go up, and that that coveted position of number 1 or 1, 2, and 3 is where a small business wants to be. So just going back to the example, let's say you're a plumber in Adelaide, and the SEO agency says I can get you there in 2, maybe 3 months. Let's say it all works really well, and the term Plumbers Adelaide, which I would assume is quite a competitive term, anything in the trade areas, they spend money on advertising, and they're certainly spending money on SEO and web promotion. And let's say within 2 months, from page, I think I said from page 3, they've pushed you up to, say, the middle of page 1. And the leads are starting to come in, the phone's starting to ring a little bit more, getting a few more emails, and it all looks pretty good. Business is starting to crank on a little bit. And then for the next month or 2, things are a little bit stagnant. The rankings don't really go up. Maybe they drop a few places. Maybe they do go up a little bit. And you pick up the phone and go to your SEO and go, okay, what's going on? Why aren't we moving up anymore? So you need to understand that with the search engines and Google, it's a logarithmic scale. So if you're on, it's much harder to get from, say, the middle of page 1 to the top of page 1 than it is to get from page 4 onto the bottom of page 1. So the closer you get to the top of the rankings, the more competitive it gets, and the harder it is for the SEO guys to do their work. So you might get a boost quite quickly with the work that's been done, and then it takes a little bit longer for that extra work that goes on to push you, to those real coveted positions of 1, 2, and 3. And in really, really competitive markets, when you're dealing with companies that have a massive marketing budget, you can spend thousands and thousands and sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars on their web promotion. It can be a real battle to get anywhere near the top. But that's not to say it's not achievable. With the right strategies and making sure you understand what's going on at the current time within the search engines, it's certainly achievable. And we've, from personal experience, we've proven that we can push through those bigger companies and achieve those top positions when you know what you're actually doing. So you picked up the phone, you go to your SEO, go, what's going on? The rankings aren't moving anymore, and he'll explain to you, things take time, and hopefully they explain that it is, much harder to get to that position 1 from the middle of page 1 than it is from page 4 or 3 to page 1. And then they do a little bit more work, so a few more months go on, and you actually do break into those top 3 positions. It's great, phone's ringing off the hook, and getting lots and lots of work. You're starting to expand your business, and everything's working really well. Then you get to the 6-month period, and you're still there. Rankings are sustainable. Your SEO guy has done his job. Sitting at 1, 2, 3, maybe in a really competitive term, it might be even on page 1 is enough to get your business really cranking. So then you start thinking, well, he's got me to page 1. Things are really working well. What am I paying this guy a monthly fee now? My rankings are just sitting there ticking along. He doesn't need to do anything. Why am I paying him a monthly fee? So you pick up the phone and go to him, well, he or she, what am I paying you for now? You've done the work that you need to do. Why should I, keep paying you a monthly fee? And someone who knows what they're doing will actually explain to you in this way that, well, number one, just go back to the start. SEO is a lot of work. Like any other business, you need to, first of all, have the knowledge, and then you need to be able to apply that knowledge and apply it diligently and apply it with a sense of urgency in the right way to get things really cranking. The other part that someone asked me the other day, well, actually I asked a question back when this client asked me what am I paying, why do SEOs have a monthly retainer. I asked the client, well, you know a little bit about SEO, you've done a little bit of research yourself. How many updates do you think Google had, in the last 12 months? They reeled off Penguin and Hummingbird, and there's a couple of others that people are understanding of, and Panda obviously a little bit longer ago, and that they reeled off 3 or 4. But Google actually is updating their algorithm amazingly frequently, and up to 500 times a year that they're actually updating, and little updates come all the time. So sometimes those ranking changes up and down can not only be the SEO work that's being done, but also the algorithm changes that come in through Google. So the point is that Google's changing things so frequently that people who are doing SEO work need to actually be understanding of how that's working, be quick to understand new changes, and then apply them to ensure that either the rankings stay where they need to be or move up a little bit, and certainly not so they drop. Now the thing is, there's some agencies out there or SEO people that will say, pay once and I'll get you onto page 1. Or guarantee sometimes to position one within 3 months. That's all fine. There's people are still spamming websites and web properties to the top of Google, but they don't last very long. So you can pay your upfront fee. You can be spammed to the top of Google few months down the track, everything disappears and your rankings drop. In worst case scenario, you're a de-index. So the money you've paid, not only have you paid that money, it's been unsustainable and you've lost your rankings. If it's de-indexed, then you've lost your site. And then you have to go back to the same person and pay more money, or you'll have to go and find another SEO business or agency and actually say, well, you know, things work, but I wasn't happy that I lost my site. Can you help me? So it becomes a bit of a vicious cycle then. And this is where SEO has got a bit of a bad name with those sort of unscrupulous SEO gurus doing that type of work. It sounds great up front, and it probably, you know, a lot of times it does work up front, but then very quickly it can all fall apart. So you can imagine if you're, again, going back to the example of being a plumber in Adelaide, you can imagine if things go gangbusters over 3 or 4 months and your rankings skyrocket, and you've got first page rankings for you know, tens or even hundreds of keywords. The phone's ringing off the hook. You're getting loads of emails. So then what you do, you go, okay, well, I'm going to expand this business. I've got all this work. You go and employ a couple other plumbers. You might put another admin assistant on, and all of a sudden you've expanded your liability through your business. And then 4 months down the track, it all falls over because you lose all your rankings. The phone stops ringing and you stop getting emails, and all of a sudden you've got employers you actually have to look after, and then obviously the worst case is the business falls over and you have to put off all your staff, and things are either back to where they were, or you've gone bankrupt and it's completely you know, start from scratch again. And this all sounds alarmist, but it's actually what has happened in the past with small businesses and even medium businesses, where they've employed SEO guys that have cranked them up so much, and then it's not sustainable, lose all their rankings, and then the business is destroyed. People have lost their livelihoods. That can happen with the unscrupulous guys, but you know, then it also can happen when Google just at a whim brings in a massive update that can completely demolish. So things are always precarious, but if you follow the guidelines and ensure that you're doing all the right things currently, and very diligent in keeping up to date with what's going on, your rankings can stay stable, and you can provide that quality and relevance to have the rankings stay up there all the time. And when you think about it simply, Google's providing a product that they want to provide the best user experience for their customers, which is people searching for search terms on their web browser. If they think there's a site or a web property that's trying to game their way to the top, or the quality of the content is inferior, they're going to come down hard on you reasonably quickly. So if you're doing things the right way, like a normal, reasonable person would in any business, then you're going to have a much better chance of actually being sustainable in the rankings. So going back to why SEO agencies charge a monthly fee, it's just for that reason, that if they're good at what they do, they understand that there's very regular updates through Google, and things need to be kept on top of all the time. Little changes that come in, they need to tweak all the time. Being on top of the algorithmic changes and any other changes that come in through the search engines. And then also just being able to, when you have those little rankings drops or a spike in traffic, you need to understand why that's happening, and that your SEO guy or your agency behind the scenes can actually provide that information for you. So that's just a little bit of information of why SEOs charge a monthly retainer. We're not out playing golf 5 days a week and do 4 hours on a Saturday afternoon to keep our SEO business going. We work exceptionally hard, especially the good ones, work exceptionally hard like in any other business. We're diligent, and we provide that value and sustainability for the longer term. So I hope that explains a little bit about why we charge a monthly retainer. Sometimes SEO agencies struggle to explain that to their clients, and the industry as a whole sometimes struggles to actually explain to the general public why it is we do what we do, and why our business model is as it is. So thanks very much for your time. I hope that's answered a few questions for you, and certainly head on over and check our website out. And we've got lots we can look at, and we're always continuing to be up to date with the changes in the algorithms and in Google and how things are working currently. So thanks very much for your time, and I'll speak to you later.